Good evening, Shortcuts. This is the second video showcasing the price list that will go out for Shortcuts this Wednesday, January 14th, 9 p.m. sharp, Sydney time. If you would like to be on this price list, check out the end of the email or the end of this message and I will tell you how to do it, or look in the notes below. This is an Aussie and classic rock list. I just did a heavy metal, new wave, British heavy metal and thrash list. This one's a little bit different, but it's got some classics in it. We're going to start off in the obvious place. This is the famed Aussie first press of AC/DC's Back in Black. The ultimate Aussie export. How do you know if you've got first press? Well, one of the biggest clues is that the insert folds lengthwise like so. That is a key indicator, and you also need the red label with the orange points, and the other thing you want is really nice vinyl, which this is in spades. This collection is incredible. If you haven't seen the first list of heavy metal trash, man, it's spectacular. So what's left to be said about this other than, you know, the Aussie first press is pretty great, and it's the perfect storm of kind of riff economy and arena rock. It just took off. It's hard to find a rock record from this era that's aged better in many ways. And Back in Black, it still sounds massive, still plays any party, still converts new listeners, young and old. Collectors care because it's a cornerstone of not only Aussie rock, but just rock in general. And upgrading from a kind of battered copy to a plum Aussie first press, one of the best upgrades you can do. So it's there for you if anyone wants it. Now this second record is more my speed though. This is a really interesting record. This is Radio Birdman's Living Eyes, and it is Radio Birdman's Radios Appear. This is the gatefold from 1985 that showcased the overseas versions of both of those records at a special price back in the day. It is really hard to find in great condition. This is in perfect condition. Now, there were multiple copies of this. The one you want is this one on the original Trafalgar labels. It's just a fantastic artifact. I was speaking to one of my club members that was here a little bit earlier to pick up some music. We're talking about Aussie music. And I was thinking about who are, the three greatest Aussie bands. And if you'd spoken to me in my teens and 20s when I was collecting Midnight Oil records when I lived in Northern Ireland from Gene Stewart's record shop, I don't think you could ever have convinced me that Midnight Oil would not be in my top three. But it's tough because you've got the Saints, you've got the Church, and you've got Radio Birdman. And I'm like, oh no, this is tough. I think maybe the oils get budged out. There's some oils to come, by the way, some great oils. I love this Radio Birdman double LP. It is magnificent. It's like two of the greatest, not just two of the greatest Aussie rock albums of all time, two of the greatest kind of punk rock records ever made. They are that good. I mean, honestly, amazing records. And still completely works for me, coming to them pretty new over the last few years, because they're not a band that I knew. A couple of people put me onto them, and I'm really glad they did. Chris, if you're watching this, you know who you are. Urgent, big guitars, amazing melodies, tuneful, just brilliant. All right, there you go. Now, this next record is not one that I love, not a band that I love at all, but I know some of you out there do. And this is Scarred for Life, Rose Tattoo. Now, you can see there's a bend in the sleeve here, but apart from that, the record's great. This is this kind of distinctly Aussie swagger bar fight music. So it sounds like to me it's pure kind of balls out swaggery stuff, and I know that these bands worship AC/DC, and you can hear that. But this is the alternative sleeve that was released initially on a different sleeve from what I just read. Now this is again on the Albert Productions label, vinyl in beautiful condition. But not a band that'll ever make it into my Aussie top 3. I will put it like that. All right, now this is a band that I do like a lot, and I like their sleeves, I like their aesthetic, and I like their sound. This is a band called Lime Spiders. Now this is more my speed. This is more garage rock than pub rock. This is a really kind of psychedelic gatefold. This is called The Caves. The Cave Comes Alive, or The Caves Come Alive. I can't remember now. From, let me have a read. The Cave Comes Alive. Look at the record player. Psychedelic rock player. This is kind of high voltage garage rock. This is right down my street. And I think that these Lime Spiders are the type of band that keep getting rediscovered just because that type of music never gets old. Still works for me, still works for a lot of people. They're kind of an inconsistent band though, but I do like that one. Now this is a band that did make it big. Not much needs to be said. The Aussie first press of In Excess The Swing. If you have a copy that you're not happy with, or if you don't and you need to plug it, that Aussie first press is pretty great. Now there's a few records here that are just not in my wheelhouse, but I'm just going to go through them because the collection that I collected also has a lot of Aussie records, so please let me know if there's anything you're looking for. For example, Solidarity, Richard Clapton from 1984. Again, his roots were deep in the kind of pub rock scene, but he's less of a global superstar and more of a kind of road-tested kind of Aussie poet, and I kind of respect that. He's kind of his songs are more story driven, and whilst they don't work for me, I get the warmth and I get the kind of the wideness of the sound. I get it. There's a band that I don't get at all, but this record is an interesting one that I hadn't seen before. Probably you guys will just go, oh, that one, what are you talking about? But I wasn't so familiar with this. Cold Chisel, 20th Century. This is from 1984. I suspect this is getting toward the end of their run, and I don't know whether there's a law of diminishing returns here. Some of you Chisel fans will probably be able to let me know in the comments. The issue I have with this band is the kind of angsty, kind of Jimmy voice, and that just feels just the wrong side of cheesy for me. But I get the legacy of bands like Chisel, and so yeah, I wasn't so familiar with that one. There's a bunch of his others there. If anyone's missing anything, sing out, send me a note, and I'll let you know. I've got I pulled out this Oils just because I love this record, and it gives you an idea. You can see the quality. This is Red Sails in the Sunset. Really, really, again, beautiful copy. With this collection, you buy any of these, it's very, very unlikely you'll ever need another copy. They're in wonderful condition. Red Sails, 1984. This is one of their more stridently political records, and therefore, in my opinion, one of their best. Very tense, very rhythmic, very urgent. It feels like a broadcast of a manifesto, and I just love that clarity with who they are and what they want to be. And when I was listening to, Diesel and Dust and Blue Sky Mining, and the live record when I was in my teens, that's partly what made me fall in love with Australia, and now here I am. All right, let's see what else there is in this Aussie. There's three more Aussie records, then we got some classics to go through. So this is Rat Cat. Jangly guitars, kind of more of a youthful kind of sound, but again, I kind of like the fact that that's in there. We have a record that I really quite like, and so I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here. This is You Have the Right to Remain Silent. The Radiators, another band that I suppose sound a bit pub rocky, but I don't know, they've got something the Radiators do. They're good. At least in my ears. Am I the only one? I'm really curious. Let me know if there's any other Radiators fans out there. Definitely not as mythologized as a lot of other Aussie bands, but you know. And then what about this? The likes of Sherbet. So this is Track Record, their 1972 compilation, just in beautiful condition. These guys really play the nostalgia card pretty hard. I don't know, modern listeners, I don't know, your mileage may vary, but I know there's a lot of Sherbet fans out there. Now, this collection has a lot of great classic albums too, but some of them in versions that I'd never seen before. And this is a great example. This is a record that most of you will recognize. Reckless by Bryan Adams. Now note the blue sticker. It says limited edition colored vinyl plus free poster. So let's have a look. Well, let's tick the box on the limited edition colored vinyl. Look at that. How beautiful is that? I never knew that existed. And not only is all of that in beautiful condition, so is the poster. Let's have a look at it. There he is. Look at that. Pretty bloody good. If you're a Bryan Adams fan, or if you want to buy something for a Bryan Adams fan that's going to be a surprise and delight feature, that is as good as it gets. You know, Soul Squazillions, but had some kind of weird vinyl versions that I just did not know existed. That's from that was from the year it came out, and I think you can only get that version in Australia. How amazing. Now, this is a record that's completely ubiquitous, but it was repressed so many times in Australia that I was actually quite surprised to find it's the first press. The first Aussie first press of Led Zeppelin 4, complete with the inner in lovely condition. Vinyl too, in really beautiful condition. And there's the first press, kind of Zozo symbols. It's like, this collection is just spectacular, and so lots of you will get to share in it, which is the point of this whole club. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. All right, is there a more mythologized record than this? Maybe other than Sgt. Pepper. Led Zeppelin 4, beautiful first press. And then what about this? A 1989 pristine Aussie first press of Flowers in the Dirt by Paul McCartney. I think this was the first kind of Beatles oriented record that I bought with my own money. I remember Flowers in the Dirt. What was the hurt? My Brave Face was the hit in the UK of that. Talking about classics, you can't get more classic than this. And again, this is just a beautiful copy. This is Pink Floyd's The Wall. Just as good as you will ever need. And the Aussie copy of The Wall is really good. Really, 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 really good. The Japanese version's better, but it's 2.5 times the price. So your mileage may vary. Talking about double albums, what about this? The Aussie first press of Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous. The mighty Lizzy. Man, what a record this is. Jailbreak, Emerald, Southbound, Dancing in the Moonlight, Still in Love with You. Great live version. Cowboy Song, Warrior. The Rocker. Yeah. Notorious, of course, because the band went in and tweaked the sound, but it sounds that good. And you know what? Every live 70s record was had the same treatment. That's as good a copy again as you'll ever need. Or if you're more into the synth side of 80s rock, what about Eliminator by the mighty ZZ Top? Again, nothing needs to be said. The Aussie first press is in pristine condition. We also have the Aussie first press in lovely condition of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Elton John, the trifold, kind of whole business. Again, just lovely condition. And a couple more. There's a couple more double LPs to come as well. In between, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. This sleeve is horrendous, and arguably it's, lower tier Rolling Stones. This is Dirty Work 1986, just though in lovely condition. I'm just gonna pull it out, the label. There's the copy, the color scheme, the infamous cartoon, all perfect. If you haven't gone through that, I will save it for revise it. Just again, beautiful condition. Especially for those of you collecting Stones who just want a notable first press of that. Controversial, of course, but features the Harlem Shuffle, which has its fans. Another killer double LP. This is, forgive the pun, Live Killers by Queen. Another double LP from, I think, could be the same year as Live and Dangerous. You can decide which one you prefer. Again, beautiful condition. For those of you who come to the fair, you're going to see loads more records like that. I wanted to pull out a double record that I really like, and it is Steely Dan's Greatest Hits. Wonderful sounding record, and that just delivers song after song after song that is just masterful. I love the insert on this. Just tells you all you need to know about Beckett and Fagan. Calling it Greatest Hits is just a bit odd, but because of how they work, look at the list. I don't know if you can see this, but the list of musicians is about 100 of them. And you can probably only hear about 10 seconds of each just because of how weird they were. But you can go down through that list and you'll see some people you recognize. Kid Charlemagne, The Peg, Pretzel Logic. Do It Again, Rain in the Years. Fantastic double LP. Well worth your time. If you don't want to collect Steely Dan's 70s run, you could do worse. And then finally, there's some stuff like this. Again, Aussie first press in pristine condition of Peter Tosh's Legalize It. Again, the lovely gatefold. I don't know. It's just phenomenal. I'm so excited by this collection. 1976. Peter Tosh from the mighty Wailers. What a time that was for music, mid-70s. There you have it. The Aussie and classic rock selection with some really interesting vinyl. For those of you who can make it, come to the Hotel Stay in Manly this Sunday, the 18th at 11 o'clock. If you arrive in the first hour, you will receive a ticket and you will potentially win some vinyl. I've given away 4 or 5 records at each of the fairs. This is my 4th, the 1st of 2026. All right. If anyone would like to be on this price list to receive the prices for these, which will go out 9 p.m. this Wednesday sharp, then drop me an email, shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com, or click the link in the notes below. Please, thoughts and messages are appreciated in the comments. And yeah, if any of you want to collect bundles from me at the fair on Sunday, please drop me a line as well so I don't forget. All right. Thanks all.